Welcome to the feedback session. First of all, a big congratulations to all of you who submitted the ITP. And for us, it was really inspiring to see all kinds of, exploring all the diverse ideas that you had. And in terms of the creativity, in terms of the focus, we were really surprised by some of the teams. But we know that end of the school year is really difficult, and it's very busy. It's busy for us as well. We really appreciate that you have made the effort and took the time to work on the ITP. And this, in a way, sets the foundation for you for the next step. So congratulations and a big thank you. With that, let me quickly introduce the agenda. So our agenda will be to quickly give you an overview of different teams ITP, because you know what's going on in your team. However, you don't know what the others are doing. Hopefully, having an overview of what the others are doing will give you some more ideas or an inspiration, or also kind of an awareness of what's going on, right? And then we will give some general feedback that applies to all the teams. Since all of you are here from different teams, we do not want to go to specific feedback for each team, because it will then add others. They will be just sitting there, listening to your feedback that might not apply to them. So the way we planned it is we are going to give the feedback that applies to all of you, and then we are going to send out written feedback given by both of your facilitators and by the ASAP ClassNet team as well. So we will be sharing those written feedback in more detailed, concrete manner, so that it helps you with your presentation on 13th of December. And then it helps you to prepare content for the final submission that you will be sending us on 22nd December. And then, of course, we will invite Alexia. So today we focused mainly on the feedback from a classroom perspective. So Alexia has given feedback, and then we have some feedback as well. And then we will kind of give a quick update on the templates, and then we'll have a question and answer session to respond to any queries that you have. So with that, I am really excited to introduce you to your ITP team by team. So bear with me as I introduce you to each other's ITP. So the first innovative teaching practice is by the Greenbridge, Team Greenbridge. And is any of you here? If yes, please type in the chat box with here, so that we can later kind of see who has a chance to listen to the feedback. So I really love the name. It's called the Greenbridge, and the bridge is between human and nature. So big congratulations, Lenka and your team. We really loved reading your ITP, and it was really precise, and it was very well organized, specific focus. So congratulations. Despite the challenges you faced in the team due to dropout of some members, right? So their team's focus is effects of oil pollution in water, and their key focus in terms of their students' learning is through experimentation, observation, and exploration. So that's the first team. And then the second team is positively passionate educators. So their focus, in a way, is more on the pedagogical side. So they're focusing on student motivation and focusing on the self-determination theory to understand and to explore how they can create a motivating environment for their students, and to give their students more autonomy. And in a way, their focus is general in terms of climate change, education and awareness on climate change, and they want to inspire their students to learn through advocacy. So that's the second team. And then the third team, the Global STEM Facilitators. I see already Mike is here from the team. Nita, I think I saw Nita as well. Sorry, because I'm sharing a screen, so sometimes I don't see all of you. So apologies if I miss out on anyone. So their focus is to study the effects of nutrients on growth of plants. So in a way, plant nutrition, which is very interesting. I have actually never thought of it, through hydroponics. So I actually don't know what that is. And I got to learn a little bit when I was reading their ITP, and then also I Googled a little bit. So it was first time learning about it for me as well. And their team is focusing on learning for students through experimentation and multidisciplinary exploration. So we will invite each team to say a few words, but for now, let me quickly go through each team's presentation. The next team, we have the art observers, very fitting for what they're doing in terms of the activity. So they want their focus is on observation of art through satellite data, and they want to focus on their students' learning through real-world driven data and exploration of local context. And the next team, we have the green team. So we have one green bridge and this one, the green team. And their focus is on general climate awareness. And of course, they want to focus on learning through research and future predictions. And the next team is called the Team Endurance. I want to talk to them specifically why they decided on the name. Okay, so for Team Endurance, they are focusing on forest ecosystem and sustainable forest management. And they want to focus on learning through satellite mapping, a bit similar with the art observers, and then observation, analysis, and exploration. And then the next focus for Team Aqua, I think in Spanish, aqua means water. It's recycling of plastic waste in a creative way. So they want to focus on, of course, data analysis to understand the waste cycle and waste management. And then they want to focus on poster presentation and exploration of arts and crafts. And the next team, we have BCPB. I'm assuming the name stands for something related to your country. Actually, yes, it's your country. Yeah, Belgium, Croatia, Philippines, and Vietnam. So their focus is monitoring the influence of air temperature on individual plant phenological phases as an indicator of climate changes, and then learning through research and data analysis. So we also would like to encourage a little bit of inter-team collaboration. So maybe the team who are focusing on plant nutrition in a way can collaborate with this team to kind of understand each other's project and also maybe learn from each other's insights. So for this team, they want to focus on learning through research and data analysis. And then the next team, we have the climate climbers. So for them, they want to explore thermodynamics of the human body, the creation of biometeorological forecast at the school level. It's difficult for me to understand, so I'll also have to talk to them. However, in terms of the topic, the focus seems concrete, and they want to focus on learning through research and data analysis. And then the last team that we have, it's called 4 Cultures, 4 Shares. And for them, they're focusing on a generic level on sustainable development. And they want to encourage their students to learn through workshops and collaborations. So let's go back to the first team. So between human and nature, the green bridge, who is here from the team? If you could help me either by speaking, that would be, because I cannot see the screen of participants. So who is here? Lenka, you are here. Thank you so much.
Yes,
could you give us?
And
Yes.
that I think we are here.
Perfect. Thank you, Lenka. So for us, we kind of give an overview, but of course, you know better what's going on in your team in terms of the topic. So could you give us a quick overview so that the other team members can learn about it as well?
Okay, we thought about pollution of water with the oil, and we thought it would be, we didn't know in fact how to start, but we described our scenario as a warming up scenario, like to use Kahoo, Jamboard, or Padlet to start with this topic, oil pollution. So that the students at the beginning can find out which accidents in the world already happened, big accidents like Exxon Valdez or Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And later on, we thought that it could be some experiments with the oil in the water. So these hands-on activities are experiments like see what is the density, differences of density of water and the oil. Then they can think about how to clean the oily water to use the skimming absorbing pads or some other things like detergent. This is in the school. And they also think how oil spills can influence the living things like plants and birds, for example, or animals. So some activities we have after warming up step. And at the end is a reflection part of our learning scenario, so that the students can write or think about the results of activities, hands-on activities. They can write a PowerPoint to prepare PowerPoint or a quiz. And yeah, and assessment is the final part of the learning scenario.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So for your team, I would like to highlight another aspect in terms of the template or in terms of the way you presented your information. It was really clear for us to understand. So what was the thought process in terms of the way you presented it in terms of the summary? Maybe then this insight can help the other teams as well. If you could quickly tell us in a few words.
You mean the steps of
the way, yeah,
scenario?
the way you kind of organized it, the topic.
Yeah,
yeah.
we thought it could be at the beginning the aims of the learning scenario, the aims. This is a pollution, oil pollution. Then
So you define the aim
content.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So aim is
the content.
Okay. And then the next.
And activities of the students, like warming up, what they think about the oil pollution, and using these different things from Computer Kahoot, Jamboard, Padlet. And at the end, yeah, and in the middle of the scenario, hands-on activities, so experiments, and at the end, reflection and assessment.
Perfect. So thank you, Lanka. So for Lanka's team, in a way, as we are reading it, we can already tell. So the aim was very clear for us to understand the topic, and the focus was very specific. And then we can understand the activities, what they're doing with the students, and very specific as well. And then the next is the tools, the type of tools that they are using. It was very clear. And then in terms of a student's learning outcome, it was very clear as well. And then, of course, the assessment. I think one key thing that we'd like to see was the what's the next step in terms of the further implementation. So we will come back to that when we give you the written feedback. So thank you. And then let's move on to the next team. Positively passionate educators. I saw Lauri is here. Would you like to, Lauri, give us an update on your team?
Hello. So my name is Lauri. I'm from Finland, and I'm our team representative for this project. So we actually haven't decided on specific like topics yet. Our main goal was to improve the teaching of climate change. We discussed about our different curriculums and how we tackle this problem of teaching about climate change in different countries. And at this point, we have discussed about our pedagogical framework, which is like this social constructivism, where students build on the previous knowledge that they have on climate change. So that's about where we are at this point. We have discussed about our pedagogical framework and our different methods of teaching.
Thank you, Lauri. So what I really liked about your team, because from your ITV, we can see that in terms of the topic focus, maybe you haven't had the discussion. However, you really focused on what you want to do in terms of your students. So you focused on, in a way, a theory that helps you in terms of your pedagogical approach to understand what do you want to do. So for you, it's motivation, right? And inspiring students independently, creating an environment where they get to take an action through advocacy in this case. and in a way have the motivation to kind of learn on their own. So I think you figure that out. So the next step for you is to kind of figuring out that specific topic. So good luck, and then thank you so much for all the hard work. Okay, the next team. The next team, we have the global STEM facilitators. I think I see Mike here and also Nimv and Nita. So a lot of you are here from this team. So thank you so much. Could you give us a quick update and what's going on in terms of what you are doing in your team? And maybe you could also tell us a little bit about what hydroponics is so that all of us can learn, those of us who don't know. Who would like to? Okay, so Mike unmuted. Please go ahead.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Hello. So hydroponics, aquaponics, the idea was, well, first of all, what is it? It's a construction, a simple construction, allowing to grow plants in a minimum of water. So you don't use soil, you just use the flow of water in little tubes where you plant your little crops or whatever you can plant depending on the region you live. And the idea was to build such a construction in the school with a small amount of money, not something big, something everyone can afford, and let the students participate first on the construction, on the build up, on how to do it. So in fact, you can that what we put in our title, the multidisciplinary exploration. So every branch, every topic, every teacher can participate with their students in terms of building up that construction, that aquaponic construction, and learning something about nature, how it works, and so on. So that was the idea, to let them in small groups work on that project and give some input. Then it can start by simply choosing the type of grains you want to use, which type of plants you want to use, up to using physics, calculating the flow of water, using IT. If you go further, calculating or measuring the temperature of the water, the light, everything you need to grow plants inside or outside of your school with a minimum of effort, and showing the students that it is possible. You don't need a huge garden, you don't need a huge construction to grow something naturally. So that was the first idea.
Yeah, thank you. So in a way, what I also see is you were focusing in a way resource management, right? Thriving on minimal resources. That's amazing. Actually, while reading your ITP, what I really liked about it was multidisciplinary. So I thought that was really an innovative element. So thank you for focusing on it, and I'm really excited to see what's come out of it in the end when we read the detailed ITP. So thank you so much. Okay, let's move on to the next team. We have the art observers, and they were the first one to be like really enthusiastic when we send out the emails on ITP instruction. So who is here from this team? I haven't seen anyone. So if you were here, could you please unmute yourself and speak? Okay, maybe if, Angie, do you see anyone from the team?
No, maybe we can skip this team and come back later.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can skip to the next one. Okay, then we have the green team. Who is here from the green team?
Hello, everyone.
Is it Branka?
I think Gloria.
Yes,
Branka and Gloria. I think I saw her. Okay. I was a little bit late, so I apologize because of the.
Okay, so before you give us a quick update, because every time we are reading this ITP, we're trying to find what is the innovative element. So I really like that you focused on futuristic predictions. So please give us a very quick update.
Yes, well, we thought about connecting students first, so we can develop this social part of sustainable development by connecting them and try them to explain their position in the world from their region, and maybe to make some ice melting activities so they can connect better. And then they have to focus in every country about one problem that is part of sustainable development, and try to make some action plan as we do. So they would make some photos and online exhibitions about the real state of the matter, and then the prediction of what would happen in the future during the climate changing, and focusing on the human problems that we are making in the world. And then then they have to investigate and suggest the change for each country as a part, as a small council of students. You know, they would be in a position of politicians, future politicians of their countries, in fact. And we were trying to find some solution as to make a symbol of our participation and our action plan by planting a tree in every country of our group. So this is, I think, yes, and we would like to have a climate awareness day, so to make a whole event in our schools and connect the students even more of the problem.
Thank you so much, Branka. Yeah, as you were speaking, there is a lot of interesting ideas coming out. So I think we would really encourage you to kind of discuss in team how clearly you can express that, because I think that would be really good to figure out the focus in a concrete way. But really interesting ideas. Thank you. And wait for the detailed feedback from us as well through emails.
Thank you.
Okay, the next
thank you.
We have Team Endurance who is here. I see Uni, and I don't see anyone else in my screen so far. Is there anyone else? Or Uni, would you like to give us a quick update? And also, could you remind me who is the team representative? Maybe somehow I missed it, or you haven't said.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
I'm Shazreen.
Oh, okay.
Shazreen.
I think, yes, you are the team representative, right?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Shazreen from Malaysia, and we are from the team Endurance. Jyoti just now was asking why did we choose the name Endurance? Probably because endurance means the ability or strength to continue or sustain or to stay. And I guess we feel that it relates to our topic about sustainable forest management. How far can we or the students or the human beings can play a role in ensuring the sustainability of the forest. So that's is our focus. And what we plan to do is we actually have discussed, and my team members, Uni and also Ines, and each of us will choose one type of forest. Yeah, that is the main type of forest in our respective countries. For example, Ines will choose the oak from Croatia. Yeah, Ines from Croatia. Uni focus on mangrove, and myself tropical rainforest of Malaysia. So what we plan to do is to collaborate together in one lesson where we probably will invite our students to join in an online class, and they can share information or opinions or present some of their perspective in the topic of forest sustainability, the importance of forest, its impact, and the role of forest in relation to the environment. So that is part of our ITP. And we are also going to integrate one online apps called Action Bound, where we can introduce it to our students. It's kind of a gamification concept where students able to explore more of their surroundings using the digital apps of the Action Bound. Yeah, and I guess that's about our ITP. And if you have any question, you can
Thank you.
clarify.
Thank you
more.
so much. Thank you. What I really loved about your ITP is that you were focusing on not only ecosystem, and also you're focusing on the management aspect of it, right? So I think that's quite interesting. So as you were speaking, there is a lot of actually learning through what coming out. So I think maybe when you were writing more for the detailed ITP or for the presentation, you can present those as well, because then it becomes more interesting and more concrete. I would like to recommend a documentary for your group. It's called, for anyone really willing to learn more about how national parks and forest management and ecosystem works. It's called Our Great National Parks, narrated by the former US President Barack Obama. It's on Netflix. I can send you the link through email later. It's really a great documentary, and there is a whole episode on Indonesia, parks in Indonesia. So I found it very insightful. So any of you who are interested to know more about national parks and forest ecosystem, please check the documentary out. Thank you, and we look forward to giving you written feedback. Please look out for our email, hopefully by tomorrow.
Okay.
So the next team, we have Team Aqua. Who is here from Team Aqua? How do you pronounce it in Spanish? Aqua or Aqua? Maybe I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know. Anyone from Team Aqua? Okay, no one is raising hand, or I also don't see anyone. Okay, sorry, Chulun Tumor is writing. It's I'm typing the documentary name. Okay, so let's move on to the next team. Okay, just to highlight what was innovative about this team, of course, their focus is on waste and creativity, and we really liked. So when they submitted their ITP, they did it in a presentation format, and it was really creative. So very fitting for what they're doing in terms of creativity in a way. Okay, then we have the climate climbers. Who is here from this team? I think I saw Mark earlier. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't see anyone now. Okay, then maybe we move on to the next team. The last team, actually. Is anyone from this team here? Marina, Maria, or Trung, is any of you here? Okay. I don't see anyone. So with this, we have a quick overview of everyone's team's ITP. So I would like to have maybe 5 to 10 minutes if anyone wants to give each other feedback or have any question, curious about anything, or if they want to kind of, talk to the other team, because the idea is a bit similar to theirs. So please feel free to speak up or type in the chat box.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Actually, I would like to ask something. I mean, we've been having some troubles with the group.
Yes.
And we did have some miscommunication. We actually sent our draft a couple of hours ago. So, and I don't know if you want me to present a little bit our idea, or should we wait for the next one, or just to let you
It
know.
would be better if you could present so that I can quickly note down. Some of you submitted much later than the deadline. We still tried to incorporate it, but if it was too last minute, we just
Yeah,
didn't
no,
just
it's
go.
very last
Yeah.
minute. I thought, I mean, we had
So-
some miscommunication, but it's
But we were
really
gonna
hard,
get
so.
back to you. We were actually going to get back to 2 teams because we understand we had to regroup some teams. So we
Mhm.
empathize with you, and then we are gonna provide the support you need so that you can also design your own ITP. So please give us a quick update.
Yeah, it's just a little update about what we thought. Actually, we got inspired by talking. So actually, we're thinking about to have a project called kind of like Together We Inspire Us for a
Okay.
Better Tomorrow. And actually, the goal is to have the students from the different schools and countries share ideas, to have like an exchange program. And the focus on that will be activities that make our school more sustainable to reduce our carbon footprint. So, so in those things, we kind of like model our structure. We want to have some materials prepared for each school to prepare with the students, and then to plan some different themes and some different activities, focus on this, reduce the carbon footprint, and as well learn about the ideas about what it's done on the other schools. And we just got inspired by talking. And I think that was really nice because different countries, different climates, different issues, and different types of activities that all oriented to have the same focus. So that's what we wanted to have with this exchange program, actually. So we will have some interviews, and as well, we are preparing as well to get the students either together, if it works with the time, and if it not, to have like kids performing a little video to explain what they learned about it and what they did in the school and what they can, the feedback that they can give to the other schools. And at the end, we would probably have debates, presentations, videos, and a reflection as well about what's in each school. That's kind of like the structure we're giving at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah, very happy to hear that you got inspired by talking, because that's what exactly it's supposed to be. That's why you're working in a team. So very happy to hear that. Please do send us the draft as soon as possible so that we can also share it with John and Alexia so that they can also have a look and give feedback. Thank you for that. And also just a quick reminder for all of you, if it's not clear, because you were designing it in such a short amount of time, right? 1 month, where you were mainly planning and designing it. The key idea is if you can implement some part of it, that's great, but if not, that's fine, because this is supposed to be designing an innovative teaching practice. In terms of the implementation, that's your next plan, that's your future plan, that hopefully we will be kind of keep in touch with you to learn more. But at this point, our encouragement to you is that really focus on the designing the ITP. I saw Nelly raised her hand before. Nelly, I think you were from the Earth Observer team, right? So maybe you would like to give us an update. Are you here, Nelly?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
I am part of the team Earth Observers, and actually it was Mr. Daniel who created the draft, but we have some discussions about it. He suggested that we will be using a program, an app, the Sentinel Hub, as a satellite, obtaining satellite data for water resources. So it would be varied from different countries, because we are from different places. So we will be using different options like glacier formings, water formations, or sea formations, or in terms of agriculture, how fast the community in that area is growing through the use of images in the satellite of a period of years. So and compare and contrast these images through observation of these images from the satellite. So we get that data from the Sentinel Hub website. So I think we will be teaching first the students on how to use it, because actually I am also I am yet exploring on that part also. We will be teaching them on how to obtain this data and to get the images from the satellites, and compare and contrast these data depending on the subject matter that we will be using for each country, because it could be water formation, glacier formation, drought formation, because we have different interests. And by using this data, the students will be able to analyze, compare, make their observations about it, and reflect on the changes that they can see from the satellite images. And maybe after that, if possible, for me, for my activities, I will be encouraging them to do some researches on clean water solutions in our area. So they will be visiting water resources in the localities, and to study, investigate how clean the water is by using some I don't know, some testing methods to check if the water is clean or still potable. Maybe we can do that in our school.
Thank you, Nelly, for the update. I think I'm going to update my ITP focus for your team, because it's both local and global context, right? Because you were kind of creating the scope for your students to learn from each other's country. So please, do continue working on it. And then I think you were looking for your team's document, but I can share the link with you. You have all the documents on Google Docs, so I will send that.
I already found it on,
great.
one of the emails.
Okay, great, amazing. So I saw Chulun Tumori is raising her hand. Please unmute yourself and go ahead. We cannot hear you. Can anyone hear Chulun Tumor? I cannot hear her at all. No, right? Yeah. Maybe you can check if your computer is on, the sound is on mute, or something is wrong with the audio. Maybe you can type in the chat box if you have any questions or comments or suggestions. Maybe we wait for your comments in the chat box. In the meantime, who else has a comment or suggestions for your for other team, or any questions as well? Maybe I can share the screen for a bit so that we can see. I found the gallery function. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I'm going to move on to the next step, giving you some overall quick feedback. Then this time around, Alexia gave feedback from classroom perspective. And then for the written feedback, John is going to carefully look at it. So then you will have more feedback from both of them. And then I'll invite Alexia to share some feedback. And then we are going to have a question and answer session in a bigger group, then we'll end the session. So, okay, the overall general feedback. These are really generic feedback that applies across all the teams. Some of you have a really focused ITP. So you know your topic, you know what you are focusing on. And if for us, it's also kind of easy to follow what you are focusing on and what are the learning outcomes for you as a teacher and for your students. However, for some of you, the focus is not very clear. So we also kind of struggle a little bit to give feedback. So our advice is that you target a specific topic, because within climate change, there are so many things that you can tackle, right? But focusing on a specific topic will really be beneficial for you in terms of your students' learning outcome and your learning outcome as an educator as well. So for a starting point to design this ITP, maybe you really kind of explore as a team what topic you'd like to focus on. And then pedagogy and concrete teaching and learning goals. In terms of that, I think one team, it was Laurie's team, they kind of figured out the pedagogy first, because they're still trying to figure out the ITP focus. So maybe the type of pedagogy that you'd like to focus on, that's another element that you need to highlight as you are presenting the ITP. For example, some of the team highlighted the type of digital tools that they are using. So gamification, some of you mentioned gamification today, right? So define that so that we can understand that better as well. And then we want to also kind of take a moment to reflect how the type of approaches you are focusing on, or the topic even that you are focusing on, is aligned with your values. Remember, you did the identity envelope and true exercise. So bring back your reflection as you were designing the ITP. And then, of course, you could have done the same thing in your own school, right? But now here you are part of a bi-regional, multi-country team, global team, right? Everyone coming from different cultures. So what is the intercultural elements as part of your ITP? And why is that important to raise awareness or to kind of tackle or advocate for climate change education? So maybe focusing on that would really be beneficial as well, both for you and for your students. And also in terms of this specific element, how does this make your ITP unique? So reflecting on that would be, in a way, we would advise you to reflect on that as well. And in terms of the design, I just mentioned, actually, now you are at the design phase. In terms of the implementation, what's your plan? Are you focusing on a classroom level, or you want to take it to a school level, or even better in a regional level, and you are working together with colleagues from multiple schools in your own community? So that's something we want to know, so that we can also in a way measure the impact of this ITP that you are creating, because we also have some plan to highlight your innovative teaching practice across all of our social media channels, and we will invite you to write blogs as well. Because as innovative educators, the time and effort that you are putting into, we want in a way to kind of highlight that and also encourage and inspire other teachers in ASEAN countries to learn from you. So for that, this is something important for us. And the next one as well, key impact. Why are you doing this in terms of, teaching by following your regular school curriculum? Why are you working in a team? Why are you part of this school collaboration? Why are you doing this? So the key impact that you are trying to get out of your ITP, that's an area that we really encourage you to be articulate about and that focus on. And there might be just one impact that you are trying to create, or multiple. So please focus on that as well. And with that, I'm going to invite Alexia to share some of her feedback. Please, Alexia, go ahead, and then any advice, suggestions, recommendations that you have, please go ahead and share that with the participants.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Well, here it's morning. Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so it was really nice going through your ITPs. I really enjoyed it. Here in this overall general feedback, there are a lot of common points that I also noted myself. That is why I was like literally nodding and putting thumbs up, because I agree with most of it. It was really interesting also listening to you today. Sometimes when we, maybe also because it is a first draft, when we tend to write ITPs or lesson plans, we write them because we know what we mean. However, then when other people read them, it might not come across as clearly. So in fact, today when I was listening to you, I was understanding better what you have in mind. And since these ITPs are so good and they have so much potential, it would be a nice suggestion if you had the time to develop them in more detail. So when we share them between us or in general, there was also a recommendation to send to ministries or other educational communities. Other teachers can use your work and keep, communicating this message and using the very good work you have done also in their practice. And if you provide more detail and more context, it would be easier for another educator to sort of implement your ideas, because some of them were really, all of them were very interesting, but some of them I was just thinking, yes, I would do this myself actually. So that is just one point. Something else that is also mentioned here that I think is very valuable is to include student-centered objectives. Many of you had already listed objectives. However, I would consider rewording them from a student point of view. So for example, by the end of this ITP, the student will be able to, in a way that the student can almost check, like a checkbox, yes, I have accomplished this to this ITP. So maybe more quantifiable and more student-focused objectives, so they can really see, as well as you, not only the fact that the ITP has been covered, but that there is a lot of skills and knowledge that have been gained. Something else that I commented on most of you had like similar, as in the same project running in your classes. So let's say some of them were related to collecting data related to weather or climate. Some of you were mentioning reviewing climate data from the past and comparing it to now. So that is very interesting to see that you are going to have similar research or similar tasks in different countries. However, as this is a collaborative project, and in my opinion, a very unique one, because it's not just I am used to European projects, this is also a cross sort of continent project as well. It would be interesting if you try to dedicate some time to collect everything into one outcome that will enable, the comparison and the different outcomes of the different countries. And like that, you really enrich and make the most of this collaborative experience. So let's say you are collecting data about how weather has changed over the years, and you want to make suggestions for your country. Every country is going to have that outcome. Why wouldn't you collect it into one ebook, for example, introduce the ITP, and that will be something that you can share locally, maybe with your community. Maybe there are eventually, I don't know, competitions in your country or in your continent. I think that would really enrich the experience, because you're really getting the most of this intercultural experience. So we are not only learning more, it's important, obviously, to feel connected to the project and make it relatable and from a local context. But if we can also experience, maybe have an online call with our partners to see what everyone has done, even with the students, and gather everything into one project or one product, I think that would further enrich the final outcome of the collaboration. Those are the main points that I wanted to include. Some of you in the chat, I am seeing that you mentioned that you haven't yet uploaded the ITP. From my end, I don't mind that there was this deadline. I am free to provide feedback, because I understand it may be challenging to complete certain tasks. So from my end, it's fine for me to provide feedback to the groups who maybe had difficulties, etc. Because actually, even for me, I'm really enjoying reading them and learning from your ideas as well. So I also appreciate this opportunity to learn myself. Thank you. I don't know whether I was clear, whether there are any follow-up questions. However, well done to everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Alexia. So for everyone's reference, Alexia really took her time. And even when I sent her some ITPs at the very last moment, she immediately, read through and gave really good feedback. So thank you for that, Alexia. And as Alexia was speaking, I actually also remember that there is one area that I specifically wanted to talk about was doing multiple things. I think during the planning session, it was either Branka, I think Anka or Branka, I'm sorry, I think I remember one of you talked about ideas seem really fascinating in paper, but when you try to go and implement it, it becomes a lot. And then maybe that can be a bit sometimes demoralizing, because then it gets stressful. So some of you, I saw that you have really a lot of elements. We observed that you have poster presentations, workshops, video presentations. I think, it will be really overwhelming for you and for your students. So maybe you could do step by step. Maybe you could focus on one type of activity first as part of the initial phase of this ITP, because this is not the end for you. I think we, as the ClassNet community, creating this platform for you, but we want you to make the best of it and then continue the collaboration, not end it here. It's for network creation. So we are facilitating the creation of this network and for you to continue this journey. So I think for now, focusing on something simple will be simple in terms of the steps or the types of activities that you want to implement or do. I think that would be practical. So I saw that John is giving some really useful feedback through the chat. So those of you who haven't read the chat box, please do. Maybe John, would you like to say a few words? Please feel free to, if you have any quick comments and suggestions that Alexia or I haven't focused on, please feel free to speak up.
Okay, you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Great. Hi, everyone. So there are very beautiful insights that you have made. I made a strong distinction between curriculum design, the enactment, as well as the experience curriculum. Design is what you have got so far. And we know it's been stressful, but good job for all of you who have been working on it relentlessly. The challenge next for you is at the ideological phase, where right now you are seeing it from a big picture. The power that you have from learning with one another is the next dimension of the enactment. Right? That's where Jody just mentioned, don't be too stressed and too hard up that all the learning points will be tick, tick, tick. What is important is how students themselves also learn from the experience. In fact, in one of my research on learning from failures, this is where sometimes the biggest learning jump is. That learning jump where students themselves realize they have made some calculation errors. They have made some assumptions. They have made some they have clarified some misconceptions through that discourse. That is where part of the learning from failures becomes illuminated. The word is illumination. What Jody, Angie, and team has offered to you is a platform simply for you to allow that as a jumping pad. Your job as the curriculum gatekeeper, you are a gatekeeper, right? Remember that. You are a gatekeeper because different countries have different gates, right? And so if you open that gate of learning, it's not just about we have learned, we have done, we have finished, but it's what do we learn in the process? How have we learned in the process? And how students themselves come to their own realization. That is the experience curriculum. So let me finish off reminding us, you are now at a phase of curriculum design. Curriculum enactment is the execution. Right? The execution is just that starting point for students. And part of the experience curriculum is making students themselves own that learning. That ownership of learning is situated by the students themselves. And if you can make that learning across cultures, all the best, guys.
Thanks, John. Thanks so much to both of you, John and Alexia. Angie and I, we often discuss as we, work to, as we prepare for the ClassNet program and we kind of compile the work as we go on, we often discuss that we are really privileged to work with a teachers group, because, you know, in our department, we have youth, we have higher education, and in GNI, we work for the teaching and learning program. And we feel such joy and also really privileged that we get to work with amazing educators like you, because I think educators, teachers are the most passionate participants we have, as well as the most dedicated ones as well. So we cannot thank you enough in words for all the time and hard work that you put into to create better learning environments, as something we highlight again and again. So really, really thank you for that. With that, let me introduce what's next. Okay, question and answer, I will come back to it later. I think I missed one slide somehow. Okay, here, this one. So of course, now you have another submission in a way. It's not a submission, it's a presentation. So it's on December 13th. For this one, please don't stress, because you already have the idea and you have some time to figure out the concrete idea if you don't have it so far. We are going to send a PowerPoint template. You don't have to exactly follow the template as you present your ITP to us on this day, on 13th of December. The template is mainly for you to have a guidelines in terms of what we are looking for. So we will be uploading the template on the learning platform later, latest by tomorrow. The key things, key areas that we are looking for is, of course, the ITP idea and a quick summary, and learning outcome for you and for your students, and the intercultural element and the key impact. That's it. And the presentation time for each team, it will take place in sort of a bit more than an elevator pitch. So that's 3 to 5 minutes. So within that 3 to 5 minutes, hopefully you together with your team, or you can also just assign a team member who is going to speak, present it on this day. And then of course you will have the templates on the detailed submission for ITP that we work together with John and Alexia. It's going to be available on the learning platform later by tomorrow. So please check out. We'll be also sending an email summarizing what we have done and the templates and all the relevant materials. So let me stop sharing my screen so that I can see your face and we all can see each other's face better. Yeah, now this is much better. Okay, so some of you have to go. We understand that you have classes, so that's okay. But now let's, wrap up as a group. If you have any questions at all, any comments, any suggestions, now the platform is yours. Anyone? Okay, so I think then we end the session today with all the best to you. Good luck with the presentation preparation and the team activities that you are carrying on. Alexia, John, me, Angie, we are here to support you, Rekha as well. So any questions you have, feel free to send us. Some of you, sometimes we couldn't get back to you in your emails because it was just really overwhelming for us to kind of gather all the ITPs for both projects, but we will get back to those of you who still didn't hear back from us on your specific email. Good luck and almost weekend. So have a lovely weekend, and then we will see you on 13th of December. And take care. Bye-bye.